I'm going to go with Lomax. Lomax, you can't argue with that.
Well, it is a tough call because there were some good performances, but I'm going to give a joint award personally this week to Wigan's two wingers. They weren't perfect performances from players of their calibre, but both had really crucial impacts on the game in what was a much-needed win for my Wigan side. Add into the mix that they were both just back from injury, and in Burgess's case, nearly a year out, and I think that's why they deserve to share the accolade this week. That's where I'm coming from the narrative situation. And to add to that narrative, the last time these two players played together was the 2015 Grand Final. Now, obviously, Burgess then spent a year in the NRL. That year was the year that Manfredi really came to prominence as a top-class winger, but then suffered that awful injury at Castleford that year, basically spent 2 years out. When he came back in last year was when Burgess was suffering his horror knee situation. So Wigan haven't had these arguably two of the best, four wingers in Super League, let's say, over the last 2 years, in terms of when they played, what they could do.
In terms of potential, yeah.
Well, I mean, we talk Makinson, we talk maybe Jerry and Ryan Hall in that conversation as well over that whole piece. But don't say Regan Grace, don't insult me.
No, I said Daryl Alfords, but they... Come on.
But yeah, so to me the narrative adds into that, and they did have really big moments in the game, especially in the second half. So I'll go with that record. Yeah. And do you know what? When they have been playing, they've been trier gamers. So imagine the potential of having them both together. I'm very excited. Highlight of the week,
need some
to continue my excitement and positivity, because hey, I haven't had many of these moments this year, Alan. Highlight of the week for me was George Williams' hat-trick try for Wigan. That's going to be my personal favourite moment of the week. Not only was it a beautifully put together try down the reinstated golden edge, but it brought Wigan our first win since round 2. So happy days for me.
Happy days.
I don't want to guess. I don't want to pre-guess yours, but what was your highlight of the round?
I've got two, and I'm looking purely on the performances on the pitch.
So in terms of Prowl.
No, well, yeah, but I could have picked on Kelly waddling down the wing, but no. In terms of the two best plays in different ways. So Regan Grace's try from the scrum, base of the scrum, was a great technical try. We've already talked about that. But in terms of pure entertainment, I really liked Kyle Wood's kick, and then another kick, and then a this and a that, and a bit of the other. So I really liked that play, just because that kind of off the cuff kind of stuff. So those were my two.
Excellent stuff. Well, in the predictions, I went 6 out of 6. I'm 70% overall for the season now. Sarah went 5 out of 6. When I was messaging her yesterday, she couldn't decide if she was happy for me that Wigan had won, or annoyed that a Super Brew had fallen at the last hurdle. She's at 67%, though, alongside you at 67%. I've written Tim's at 70%, but he's not. He's at 60%. Yeah, close in our race for who's going to be the top predictor. Super Brew, Tim Kilpin stays top. Craig Malson, our friend, the expat Cass fan, he wears the yellow cap this week. In the Fantasy League, of course, Alan Bagley stays top. Who else? He's top of the league. Best score this week, though, goes to Vanessa Gray with 692, and I'm waiting for someone to say, no, that was wrong, because I struggle looking at that table these days. But anyway, thanks to everyone who got in the fan reviews this week. Really good mixture there. Especially great to get so many in on a couple of the games that weren't on the TV. That's brilliant. Really So make sure you look out for the links for the Google form for fan reviews for next week's games. We've been imitated now. That's when we know we are doing something that's a success in terms of the Google form for your fan reviews on matches. But stay with SLP. We will read out all your views, as you know. So give us more next week. And we're now going to move on to other results. Other results time, Alan. It was round 8 of the championship. I'll do the scores, you do the fan views. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Yep. Well, the first game to talk about was on Saturday. It was Batley 12, Toulouse 38. And Brian Davies got in touch.
He did. So he said, routine win for the boys. A week in Toulouse made too many handling errors close to back line in the first half, else it would have been a big Toulouse lead. Second half, coming down the hill, Toulouse were too big, too quick, too strong. Justine Sangare was unstoppable. Batley waited for a Toulouse conversion, and a lad called James Brown out. And a lad called James Brown out right here, right now, for sleeping with his wife. Big Nige stood near me, remarked, well, that's a first.
Wow, I need to hear more about that story from anyone who was down at Batley at the weekend.
Down at the Fox's Biscuits, yeah.
Barrow 26, Swinton 33.
Good win.
Wigan's dual reg players scoring some tries there, Forsyth and Paisley, a couple of the pasty-faced Liams. Your boys Bradford 26, Lee Centurions 12.
Yeah, good win with only one fit half-back, but apparently only half fit. But yeah, that's a good win, that one.
Important in the race for the top 5. Featherstone 22, Dewsbury 32, so they did not silence the Rams.
They did not.
At the LD Nutrition Stadium. Rochdale 4, Widnes 50. Paul O'Brien got in touch. Al?
He did. Says another away day for Widnes and a great following from the fans. Shaky start, but Widnes soon got on top of Rochdale. Another win in the bag and back to 0 points.
One of the interesting games towards the top of the table saw York host Sheffield. Sheffield came away winners, 24 points to 16, as their great form continues. And finally, the televised game. Well, actually, there was 2 televised games, weren't there? Because Toulouse-Batley was on our league, but the televised game on Sky saw Halifax 12, Toronto 48, and Fax fan Genghis got in touch. Not Fax fan, Wolfpack fan Genghis got in touch.
And he said, polished and clinical from Toronto. 3 early penalties to Halifax were a little concerning, but one-way traffic pretty much after that. Very crisp passing. Wilkin adds another dimension to the side, but doesn't get tackled. Lussix didn't shoulder anyone today. Hope he's not feeling poorly. I think he did. I think he gave away a penalty for it. Actually, I think one of those 3 penalties was one of his. Anyway, maybe not. Unsung hero, Dixon picked up a hat-trick, and my personal highlight was a 90-minute Latelli-Russell combo for a try.
Fair enough. That means the standings see the Wolfpack stay top on 14 points. They've got just 1 loss. Toulouse sits second on points difference from Sheffield, who are both on 12 points. Although Sheffield have a game in hand, so they've only lost once too. York are 4th on 10 points. Lee are still leading the sort of race for the final playoff space as it stands. A 4-way race on 8 points with Featherstone, Bradford and Halifax. Dewsbury are 9th on 5 points, ahead of Barrow on 3 points. Swinton are up to 11th after their first win of the year. They go above Batley and Rochdale on points difference. Widnes are bottom but moved to 0 points, having won 6 from 7. What chance do you give Widnes of making the playoffs at this rate?
Let's have a look. So at the moment they're 4 wins behind, aren't they?
4 wins behind with a game in hand on, I think.
It was Sheffield. The game against Sheffield was postponed.
Play, so they've already played Toronto in that as well. So the game they lost was the Wolfpack.
It was. Although obviously Sheffield are surprising everybody at the moment. So that could be a very interesting one.
They have a game in hand on Lee, Fev, Bradford and Halifax.
Yeah, they have, and they've already beaten us once. I'd say they've got an outside chance of finishing 5th. I think with these teams probably taking points off each other, it's an outside chance, but the fact they've got a chance at all is a minor miracle, really.
Well, a quarter of the way through the season, I mean, you gotta say credit to those players.
Oh, yeah, completely. I'm massively impressed
during the season, and to be playing like that. Okay, into League One where it was round 5, and we'll rattle through these because unfortunately no fan reviews on these this week. West Wales 16, Whitehaven 30. So competitive stuff from West Wales at the league there. Hunslet 44, Coventry 10. Keighley 24, North Wales 22. They're just not quite getting there, are they, North Wales, at the moment, unfortunately?
No, it was a couple of late scores from Keighley, I think, that one as well.
Oldham 34, London 4, and Workington 32, Newcastle 30 in another close and exciting game towards the top of that division. In the standings, that means all teams have played at least 4 times now. Hunslet are top with 4 wins from 4. Oldham, Workington and Whitehaven all have 3 wins from 4. Newcastle, Doncaster and Coventry all have 2 wins. London Scholars are on 3 points in 8th. North Wales and West Wales are both yet to get off the mark. Keighley move on to -7 at the bottom. Okay, it was round 2 of the NRL. Started on Thursday with some Brit interest at play as the Dragons hosted the Rabbitohs. The Rabbitohs, though, came away reasonably convincing in this one, 34 points to 18. James Graham had 120 metres and Gareth Widdop also played this sort of weird Sam Tompkins a la last year at Wigan role of switching around. And for the Rabbitohs, Tom Burgess with 114 metres, but Sam Burgess, this is a shout for stat line of the week, to be fair. 2 tries, 1 try assist, 2 clean breaks, 5 tackle busts and 163 metres. On Friday, we got to enjoy at breakfast time the Raiders 10, the Storm 22. The Storm just too good for all our Brit boys. Whitehead had 5 tackle busts. Bateman had 1 try assist as he played okay in this one. Not as good as the week before, but still pretty good. Hodgson and Sutton also played for the Raiders, but the Storm were just too good. Carsten got in touch, Al.
Yeah, he did. So I said Bateman with a good game in a bad side. Cam Smith attack on Josh Hodgson was disgraceful and he should be banned. He's Cam Smith. Yeah, didn't see that one, I'm afraid.
I if it was after the first hour, I missed it. So I just missed it. Broncos 29, Cowboys 10 followed that up. Carsten was not so happy with this one.
Not happy at all. No comment. And then he goes on to have a comment. Fucking donkeys. And now serious, outplayed the whole 80 minutes and now an injury list that includes our best players. This season looks already gone again. Come on, Stellingley.
It was the Sharks 20, the Titans 6, the Knights 14, the Panthers 16, Seagulls 18, Roosters 26, Bulldogs 16, Eels 36. Looks worrying times for the Bulldogs this year. West Tigers 34, Warriors 6. And that means 4 teams are 2 from 2 with the West Tigers, the Eels, the Rabbitohs and the Storm in that position. And I'm to understand that this is the first time the West Tigers have ever led the competition is a stat I saw at the weekend on a tweet from a West Tigers fan. I don't know how legit that is, but interesting anyway. The 1-win teams are the Raiders, the Broncos, the Sharks, the Warriors, the Knights, the Roosters, the Panthers and the Cowboys. Whilst Manly, St George, the Titans and the Bulldogs are yet to get off the mark. I've written March there, I don't know what I'm doing. Off the mark in March. Okay, other games. We did get a review in on another game this week, so do you want to take us through that one? Al?
We did. So this was, it was Hull FC versus the Wakefield Reserves, and Rich got in touch on this one. Hull's heavyweight pack told in the end after some early issues holding onto the ball. Levy Nzongu and Lewis Bienek put in some good shifts, while Danny Langtree, with 2 well-taken tries, has to be pushing for a first-team call-up. A 50-12 scoreline reflected the game with a second-half dip in Hull's intensity, coupled with early handling issues being the only negatives.
So the squad's gearing up in case the injury crisis strikes at Hull FC there. Obviously, that's other results. We're now going to move on to our predictions for the next round, which will be round 8 of the Super League. Predictions time, Alan. Let's get our crystal balls out. Let's make wildly speculative guesses at this stage with no idea who's going to be pulling up for each side in particular. We'll start with what has in the past been a mouth-watering occasion. Thursday night, 7:45pm in front of the Sky cameras, it's Leeds hosting the Castleford Tigers in a bit of a derby game to start the week off. I'll let you go first on this one.
I can't believe Sky are subjecting us to 2 such poor teams. I just don't see where Leeds are going to get it together. They're even winning the statistic battle and they're still losing. Castleford by 6 for me.
Yeah, if this was the other way round and Cass were the side that were in crisis and Leeds were the side that were going to visit them, I think like the feeling of the Cass fans about playing Leeds might have pulled that out of the bag for the team. But this is the other way round. And I don't think Leeds care enough to do it. It's not as much of a derby for them as it is for Cass, basically, is what I'm saying. Is my concern. I still think Cass. Yeah, I've got Cass by 14, actually. Friday night Sky game then features another one of the top three sides.